Morning, my name is Chaminda Hettiarachi. I'm a lecturer and researcher based in Sri Lanka. I teach at Colombo MBA, Morotu MBA and Kottayam Defence University MBA. In fact, I'm here because I'm an MBA alumni at Lahore University of Management Sciences, graduated in 2001. So I'm today interviewing Dr. Jawad Syed, Dean of Sulamanda School of Business at LUMS. So he's with me today in Colombo. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Chaminda.
Can you, if you don't mind, tell us about yourself, your background, why you doing LUMS?
Okay. Once again, thank you, Chaminda. My name is Jawad Syed. I'm the Dean of Sulamanda School of Business, SDSB, at Lahore University of Management Sciences, LUMS. SDSB, according to the latest 2017 QS rankings, is amongst the top 250 to 300 business schools in the world. And LUMS, according to 2016 rankings, is the top university in Pakistan. So we are currently visiting Sri Lanka in order to invite meritorious and competitive MBA students and PhD students from Sri Lanka to apply to LUMS. We have got fully funded scholarships available for MBA students through the courtesy of Asian Development Bank. And LUMS is also offering fully funded scholarships to MBA students and also to PhD students in Sri Lanka. So that is the purpose of our current visit.
Now, for example, I myself am as alumni, I know about studying at LUMS, living in Lahore, but now let me ask the negative question first. Now, there are a lot of perceptions here that it's not worth to take the risk to go to LUMS or Lahore. So why people from Sri Lanka not think about going to Australia or United States? Why LUMS?
I'm glad that you asked this question. In the media discourse, there is something which is called perception, and there is another thing which is called objective reality, and they do not necessarily match. Statistically speaking, Lahore today is much safe when we compare it to Paris and Brussels and many other capitals across the world. Number one. Number two, Pakistan is a huge country. It's a country of 200 million people, and Lahore in the past many years has been very safe. It's the cultural capital of Pakistan. It has also rich colonial heritage. And LUMS is situated within Lahore at a stretch of 100-acre custom built facility. So based on our own experience of teaching, studying, researching, and administering in LUMS, such perceptions do not have, if you call it, any substance of reality.
My next question is now, we know there are different types of MBA programs, part-time, full-time, online, from the government universities, but we hear that LUMS is a unique MBA. So how unique and why it's unique? You say it's unique.
By virtue of its very design, by virtue of its very foundation, LUMS is unique not only in Pakistan, but also across the South Asian region. Established in 1985, it was a businessman's university. It was founded by senior leaders of Pakistani business organizations who themselves went to Harvard University and many other North American business schools, and they thought that there was a need to produce quality graduates for Pakistani public and private sector organization. It's a case-based school, and it has been pioneered back in 1980s, late 80s. It was pioneered and directed and led by professors from Ivy, from Harvard University, and from other leading institutions in the world. And at that time, it was the only case-based, case method school. And in the last 30 years, it has expanded from being a business school to a full-fledged university, and now we have got 4 operational schools, School of Business, the Sulamanda School of Business, as well as School of Humanities and Social Sciences, School of Science and Engineering, and School of Law. And very recently, our Board of Trustees, they have announced the establishment of School of Education.
I want to ask a relevant question now to the same answer. Now, in Sri Lanka, there's a perception that private universities are lower than government universities, and there's actually a scandal also going on about a medical school in Sri Lanka, about private one which is driven by profit motive. So I know that LUMS has a very unique philosophy, unique value system, and also different structure, different founding principles. Can you elaborate on that?
Indeed. LUMS, by its very foundation, was and remains a not-for-profit university. So this means that our founding fathers, business leaders who founded and led this university in its genesis, they have always spent their money. They have not taken a single penny out for their own benefits. So in fact, our foundation is based on certain principles, and those principles are merit, integrity, inclusion, diversity, and transparency. In other words, while we are a private university, we have the full charter of Higher Education Commission of Pakistan. In Sri Lanka, it is called University Grants Commission. So we have the recognition. In fact, by the Higher Education Commission accreditation body, we have got the highest ranking of all the universities and business schools in Pakistan. And that recognition is not only local, but also international, given that in the latest QS rankings, LUMS is there as a university, but the business school is there in the top 250 to 300 business schools of the world.
Okay, thank you very much. And now I also want to ask, now your visit here is not only about recruiting students. You have visited many universities. You met the state minister for education, a lot of partnerships in the institution level. So why all this, and what is your expectation from Sri Lanka as a country and as a academic community and as a neighbor?
In the last 3 days, we have had extensive meetings, and some of those very high-profile meetings with the State Minister for Education in Sri Lanka, Mr. Mohan Lal. We also had a meeting with the Vice Chairman of University Grants Commission, who himself is a full professor in finance at the University of Colombo. We also met Vice Chancellors and Deans of various public and private sector universities in Colombo and outside Colombo in the last 3 days. Based on this experience of interaction, I can clearly see and say that there is an appetite for high quality education in Sri Lanka. In particular, there is a scope for high quality full-time MBA program. And these opportunities, which are currently being made available by the Asian Development Bank and by LUMS, our partners in Sri Lanka, they have to be made more aware. Yesterday, we also had an extensive meeting with the Pakistani High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, His Excellency General Shakil Hussain, and he also assured us that Pakistan High Commission would be sympathetic to all applications for visas to those students who would qualify for admission to MBA and PhD program in LUMS.
Okay, so now in my personal capacity, I know that Pakistan High Commission is very much committed to develop education as a main pillar of partnership, and also we know there are other scholarships offered by Jinnah scholarship to go to Pakistan for medical and engineering. Now, having all the connections, all the high quality and everything, but still I want to tell Sri Lankan young professionals, qualified students, what are the requirements, how they should apply, and what kind of profile you are looking at?
One thing which I can assure our Sri Lankan students is there are a couple of things. Number one, there are historically close cultural, political and economic connections between Pakistanis and Sri Lankans. So we are tied in a bond of fraternity and affection. So these are very old bonds. They go back in history, and over the period of time, irrespective of the political governments, these relationships are there. And so there is high respect for Sri Lankan academics as well as students in Pakistan, and vice versa. We have seen the same sentiment in the last few days. Also, I would like to emphasize that there is a hidden gem in South Asia, and LUMS doesn't only belong to Pakistan. LUMS belong to the entire South Asian region, and that's why we are here. So that hidden gem is in terms of international standing, in terms of quality of education, in terms of commitment to character building, commitment to service to business organizations, public sector organizations, and also in terms of our competitiveness. We are comparable to many top universities in the world, including in the South Asian region, number one. So there is something which is available right within our own cultural context, which remains hidden. So what exactly would be the eligibility criteria? Eligibility criteria is purely merit. So one of our main values in LUMS is merit. We do not violate the principle of merit, come what may. So this means that for MBA, we would be looking at an ideal candidate, somebody who has completed 16 years of education. Work experience is not essential, but it's preferable. He or she would be expected to have sat in GMAT or GRE test, and then some letters of reference. And last but not the least, there will be an interview, which will also have a significant weightage. For candidates from Sri Lanka, interview via Skype or video link is a possibility. That is for MBA students. Let me also explain that for MBA, the scholarship which is currently being made available by the Asian Development Bank and also by LUMS is to the tune of 18 to 20,000 US dollars for 2 years, which would cover full tuition fee as well as it would cover boarding and lodging. For PhD, we are offering scholarship for 4 years, which from LUMS, the criteria is 18 years of education plus GRE test plus letters of reference and interview. And once again, we would cover 4 years of tuition fee plus boarding and lodging for 4 years.
Okay, so you clearly explain about the admission criteria and also availability of scholarships. But I want to also ask two principles. One is what is outreach program, and the second one is need blind admission policy.
Needs blind admission is basically an implementation of LUMS principle of equality, inclusion, and outreach. This means that when a student applies to LUMS, we do not look at his or her socioeconomic circumstances. We do not look at their gender. We do not look at their ethnic or religious background. We do not look at their nationality. Nothing. Not at all. We only look at the objective criteria, which is their academic qualification, which is their work experience, which is their letters of reference, their score in GMAT or GRE, and their performance in interview. And after that, if a student has qualified for admission, but due to one reason or another, he or she is unable to afford 25% or 50% of the tuition fee, then we cover those expenses. So this means that every eligible student who gets admission in LUMS will get some kind of support if they cannot afford their own expenses.
And what about National Outreach Program?
National Outreach Program. Thank you for alerting me to this. National Outreach Program is a program through which LUMS goes to far-flung areas or those areas which are relatively disadvantaged within Pakistan, and we go to those areas and we encourage and identify those schools and students who we believe could be ideal candidates for admission into various schools and academic program in LUMS. So we facilitate those students, we bring them to LUMS, we help them in preparation for GMAT and GRE, we give them some understanding of LUMS environment, and basically we only facilitate their appearance in the GMAT and GRE exams, and if they qualify our admission criteria, then basically they are welcome to be a part of our student body, and their expenses are covered. And as a part of national outreach, they are coming to LUMS, their training and preparation for GMAT and GRE, their living and boarding, everything is covered. In fact, for those students who cannot afford even GMAT and GRE, but who have been able to secure admission, we reimburse the fee for their GMAT and GRE.
So you are saying there is kind of hidden gem in our neighborhood, yeah, which is not known much maybe among Sri Lankan potential partners and students. Summarize and brief about LUMS as a kind of place, gem hidden in South Asia. It is open to all South Asian, not only Pakistanis, and also there are kind of special treatment to Sri Lanka as a friendly country. And also he talked about this idea of merit-based admission and merit-based treatment, need-bind policy, and LUMS special values, principles, and being a private university, of course, expensive one, still how they manage the social element and contribution to the nation as well as to the South Asian region. So I finally want to ask you any question, anything you want to say to the Sri Lankan applicants as well as the partners, potential academic community?
The only thing which I would like to say is this, that our emphasis, and that is based on my experience of instruction and teaching in Australia and also at the British universities, is our emphasis is on 3 pillars: research, teaching, and service. And within service, we give importance to engagement with the business and service to the broader society, including public sector organizations. So I would encourage all Sri Lankan students and candidates to visit our website, lums.edu.pk. And whenever you get a chance, please do visit us, do visit Lahore and Lahore University of Management Sciences. Seeing is believing, and I'm sure that once you visit our website, once you interact with our alumni, including Mr. Chaminda, then you will develop a better understanding and appreciation of an institution which not only belongs to Pakistan, but the entire South Asian region. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Chaminda.
Thank you.